I'm Dustin Chase with Texas Art and Film and Galveston.com, and I am here with the one and only
Marlon Wayans. That's right. I'm not Texas Chase, but I could be if I was white with curly hair and not black with nappy hair. But I'm not. But I'm here.
We're yin and yang here.
That's right. We yang and yin. Holla at your boy.
So Marlon is here to talk about his new film, A Haunted House, which is the first one of these spoofs that you've done since.
I haven't done a flick since Dance Book,
right? That's
a parody movie, but this one's different, I think.
So that's what I want to hear is why is it different?
Because it's not as desperate as the normal parody. It's weird, but
so why were the other ones desperate?
Because it's parody. I think, put it this way, I don't think Don't Be a Menace had a desperate, feverish page. I think Don't Be a Menace was basically, it was a hood movie, but just a really funny hood movie with parody elements. I think Scary Movie was a really funny, scary movie, but it was more of kind of in line with a parody, but it wasn't as desperate because the characters were so rich that it was just a funny movie. If you never saw Scream, if you never saw I Know What You Did Last Summer, the movie was just a funny movie. And I think this is similar in that this is just a horror comedy with parody moments. And it's really funny, I think, because of the characters and because of the situation, and it's grounded because there's a story between a girl moves in with her guy, and she brings a ghost with him, and the ghost winds up coming between their love.
Right.
And it's crazy, and it's weird. There's a floor, but there's no ceiling. I blew the roof off. So where we went with the jokes, who knows, and where we landed, it's crazy. It's in outer space.
Well, we know where you go because we've seen you go here.
This goes some other place.
You think so?
Mandingo party.
And you show your butt how many times in this movie?
It's a nice ass. Yeah. So, you know, were you guys mad? Nice buttocks. Got some nice little lift on it.
So,
no hair, a couple of stretch marks on the side, but I'm getting the cocoa butter on that. I got the cocoa butter on it.
So what I really want to know is, when you see movies like Paranormal Activity, which obviously this is based on, do you hate those movies and you're like, I'm going to get them? Or do you like those? I mean, talk to me about...
I think you have to be a fan.
Okay.
And then you become a hater.
Okay.
Because the fan in you likes the good ones. Like,
okay.
I like Paranormal 1 and I like Paranormal 2. It was scary. I was spooked out. I slept with the lights on a couple of times.
Okay, so then we get to 3 and 4.
And
then
somebody stepped in some poop. And then 4, they rubbed it all and smeared it all over the house.
That's what I want.
Now it's time. So, but basically, after I saw 4, I was like, how many times are you going to see the same white people do the same dumb thing?
Right.
And so the premise of the movie kind of came out of not parody, because I didn't want to bash it. I didn't really bash it and make fun of it. I just did a funny horror comedy, which is basically, what if Paranormal Activity happened to a black couple? We've seen it happen to white people and they do the same thing over and over again. But let's see it happen to black people because we do it differently. And you know, because you see when you're in the movies with us and we're talking to the screen going, don't do that, girl! Don't do that! You know,
but they still do it.
Yeah, because they can't hear you in the movie. But this time, the screen is talking back to you and it's like, we ain't doing that! Right. And it's just a fun experience. And so I kind of, it's weird because I do come from parody, but I feel like this is just a horror comedy with parody moments, and it's a situation kind of comedy, and with funny characters that come in, and it's broad, but it's not desperate. I think the pace, even though there's a lot of jokes, it's not that, hey, we're all of a sudden in some strange commercial, and it's not reference the movie. Right. It's just a movie.
But how important was it for you to get so many of the similar looks? I mean, because like the setup, obviously, when we first see it, and even the very beginning, before we even see you holding the camera, we hear that sound. You know, so I mean, how important was it to you to get that sound right, to get the way the bed was set up as you slide out through the door?
The reason why you have to get it perfect is because you have to get the audience familiar with the setting. And then once they're familiar with the setting, now they're expecting the same thing that happened in the movie. Now what's your flip? So you got the setting that's there, and now it's familiar. So we're locked into the house, and it looks like the house, and so we're locked into what this thing is, and because then your jokes and your attempts for jokes become seamless because it happens naturally, and you just go, I wasn't expecting that. because I'm used to seeing it this way. But then they did it that way, and that just completely messed me up.
So what happens to Grandma in North Carolina who's never seen Paranormal Activity? I mean,
has Grandma ever had a boyfriend?
Maybe.
Did she ever move in with a man? Did she ever come to bed?
But is she gonna get all, like, what I liked about, what's so great about this is, because obviously I'm a film critic, I watch every movie. So I've, like, even the little making fun of Halle Berry, I mean, I thought that was hilarious. You've got Halle Berry from Monsters Ball dressed as Catwoman, and I thought that was ingenious. But if you haven't seen those moments, do you think that for that person who isn't familiar, I mean,
what's fun about that night is just because in these movies, the girl kind of goes crazy. For some reason, at night she's all spooked out. So with our character, it's like when she's sitting over the bed and then she starts dancing, it's just like, what the heck is she? But it's just, okay, here's the normal, and now what do you do? Where do we take it? And for her, Make Me Feel Good and Halle Berry and the Catwoman star, it's just, you know, that's what was in her head during that trip. And so, but without seeing it, it's just, it's kind of like, that was weird, you know, but it's because of what's happening that night, that's spooky, that makes you go, even if you never saw one of those movies, I hope that this movie retains your attention and actually is funny without ever seeing any of those movies, because hopefully the situation of a girl moves in with a guy and brings a ghost with her. Look, for me, when the ghost goes, when the bed ratchets, the wind blows, the blankets go, and it's like, oh hell no, I'm out. And he leaves the house screaming, and then the next scene he's packing the moving truck and he pieces out and the car zooms off. That's just funny. Like, it's just like, because we always talk about, of course you gotta come back. Oh, that should be a real short movie. But you know, I came back because there was more jokes in the house. And so yeah, for me, it's trying to find the truth in the situation and the truth of how this person would react in this situation, and then it's relatable to kind of everybody. And the fact, then the characters, it's like when she's possessed, because we've seen people be possessed before, but then of course you're gonna call a preacher over to help, you know, exorcise her. But who knew he was gonna get a preacher that was ordained in prison? And now he's like the gangster preacher, and his advice is, and he sees all crust, he's like, oh man, if I was you, I'd be out. You know, it's like that truth. It's like, of course, if you see a girl sitting there spitting cold air out the mouth, why is the room so cold? Damn, it's cold as hell in here. Y'all can pay your heat bill? It's just the things that you're thinking that you don't say. And so that's what a lot of the movie is, you know.
Well, so what I also want to know, last question, and I'll leave you alone.
No, you asked me. You the last one. You good.
So,
I ain't playing.
I mean, I think some people are going to miss that There Will Be Blood reference, which I liked.
Which one?
The one where we hear from, what's his name? The preacher in There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. So what I was going to ask is, what makes you, I mean, do you come up with those moments in the script, or do you come up?
Sometimes they improvise it. Sometimes it's in the script. Sometimes it's like, sometimes it's like when they're doing the exorcism, and we did the whole thing with the Sam Jackson. That was written, the Sam Jackson, you know, Pulp Fiction, because he's doing a sermon from the Bible. He obviously never read the Bible, so what's he going to do? Quote some Sam Jackson from Pulp Fiction. It's like, wait. And it's a verse, you will know my name is the Lord. And we're all sitting there as the audience going, wait, I heard this before. And it's like, did you quote Sam Jackson in Pulp Fiction? And he's like, oh, you caught me. And then when he starts going into the snakes on that motherfucking plane, on the MFN plane, all that was kind of written, and then it goes somewhere completely different when he's like, because I'll braid her hair. When he starts sniffing coke and the things that he's saying when he's sniffing coke was written. What he's saying, complete improv. Up north, you are up north, wait, by the Correctional Institute in Laurel Park, that's up north. All that was kind of improvised, and we did one long take where they was just improvising, and we cut those beats in. So it was probably 70% of the movie was written, and then 30% was improv. And you know, normally it's like 5% improv, but we let because that's the way this genre goes, the found footage genre. They don't even write dialogue. That's why these movies are so not good for the most part, because the story sucks. But we found a way to let people be naturally funny and incorporate it into the movie. And so a lot of those things, a lot of it comes from some people you go, they're going to get this reference, other people may not get this reference, but is it still funny if I don't get the reference? And when you look, I've watched the movie play 8 times now, and the consistency of the laughter, they laugh in all the places that it's supposed to get laughs. And that's black people, white people, Spanish people, and then there's pockets when white people are laughing, then black people are laughing. And when black people laugh, it's so loud, and it's like all over here. And then there's Latinos are laughing. So, but when everybody laughs together, and there's about 20 of those big laughs or more from what I've counted, you know, for me, that's orgasmic, man. That's like the greatest feeling ever, because you wrote those jokes, you work hard for a year, and then you finally see the audience laugh, and you just go, oh, thank you. Thank you, because it sucks when you write it and they just like, crickets, crickets. It's like, I'm going to jump off a tall building right now.
Please don't. Well, thank you for talking with us, and there's the thunder. That means we're done.
That's scary. That's a haunted house. Boom, that's God saying, get your ass to the theater and go see Haunted House, or I'm going to haunt you.
Thanks to Marlon Wayans, and for Texas Art and Film and Galveston.com, I'm Dustin Chase.
Peace.